Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have now heard all the evidence and the arguments of counsel. It is my duty to instruct you on the law applicable to this case. You must follow the law as I explain it to you, and apply that law to the facts as you determine them from the evidence presented during the trial. You must perform your duty without bias or prejudice, and with an earnest desire to determine the truth. This is a serious responsibility that each of you has sworn to take. The evidence you are to consider consists of the testimony of the witnesses, the exhibits received in evidence, and any stipulations agreed upon by the parties. You are the sole judges of the credibility of the witnesses and the weight to be given to their words. In determining the credibility of each witness, you may consider their demeanor on the stand, their manner of testifying, their interest in the outcome of the case, any bias or prejudice they may have shown, and any other factors that bear on believability. You should consider all the evidence in the case, but you are not required to accept all the evidence as true or accurate. You should use your common sense and judgment to determine what evidence is credible and what is not. If you believe that any witness has deliberately lied about any material fact in the case, you may disregard that witness's entire testimony, or you may disregard only that part which you believe to be untrue. You must base your verdict solely on the evidence in these instructions, not on sympathy, prejudice, or speculation. It is very important that you keep an open mind and that you listen to and consider the views of your fellow jurors. However, each of you must make your own decision and not be influenced merely because others agree or disagree with you. It is your duty to consult with one another and to deliberate with a view to reaching an agreement if you can do so without violence to your individual judgment. Remember, the burden of proof rests with the prosecution, and the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This means that the prosecution has the burden of proving every element of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution fails to meet this burden, then you must find the defendant not guilty. A reasonable doubt is a doubt based upon reason and common sense, the kind of doubt that would make a reasonable person hesitate to act. It is not a mere possible doubt, because everything relating to human affairs and depending on moral evidence is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. A reasonable doubt is the kind of doubt that would cause a reasonable person to hesitate before acting in matters of importance to themselves. The defendant is not required to prove their innocence or to produce any evidence. If the defendant offers evidence, however, you should consider it just as you would any other information. If, after considering all the evidence, you have a reasonable doubt about the defendant's guilt, you must find the defendant not guilty. If you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt, you should rule guilty for this. In your deliberations, consider only the evidence admitted during the trial, the exhibits, and the witness testimonies. You must not let sympathy, prejudice, or public opinion influence your decision. It is essential that your verdict be based solely on the evidence and the law as I have instructed you. Each juror must make an individual decision, but should listen to and consider the views of others. If you have reasonable doubt about the defendant's guilt, you must acquit. If you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt, you must convict. You may take with you into the jury room the exhibits admitted into evidence and your notes. Your notes are to assist your memory and are not evidence. If your memory differs from your notes, rely on your memory. Do not be influenced by the notes of other jurors. They are for the note-taker's own personal use in refreshing their recollection of the evidence. As you talk, do not hesitate to re-examine your own views and change your opinion if you become convinced it is wrong. But do not surrender your honest belief solely because of the opinion of your fellow jurors, or for the mere purpose of making a verdict.